Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at one of those moments where celebrity culture actually gives us something, well, surprisingly useful about human psychology.
Yeah, it's about Charlie Sheen and an apology he made. Unexpectedly.
Totally unexpected. And like 20 years late, he apologized to Dax Shepard on Shepard's Armchair Expert show just recently.
Right. And look, it sounds maybe like gossip on the surface, but our mission here is really to dig into what this tells us about things like regret and memory.
And making amends, right.
Exactly, especially this weird thing where we build up our own small mistakes in our heads, convinced they were huge deals to the other person.
And maybe they weren't. So Sheen brought this whole thing up himself. He admitted he was rude in this encounter years ago and said it genuinely haunted him for years.
Haunted him. That's a strong word.
Yeah, he told Shepard, I got to make that right. But here's the immediate twist, the kind of amazing part.
Dax Shepard didn't remember it at all.
Zero recollection. Think about that. 20 years Sheen carried this thing.
And it was completely, it seems, self-imposed weight. It's fascinating, isn't it? How one person can be tormented by a memory that just doesn't exist for the other person.
So what actually happened? What was this big incident?
Well, that's the thing. It was almost kind of minor. It happened back in the mid-2000s sometime.
Okay.
And Sheen set the scene, you know. He said he was just wiped out. It was after Halloween. He had super tiny children at home.
Right. Toddlers around that time, 2004, 2005 maybe. So he's dealing with the stressful, zero-fun parent version of a holiday.
Totally. He's exhausted, probably sleep-deprived, not feeling grateful for much.
And meanwhile, Shepard, who didn't have kids back then, he's apparently just talking about his fun weekend, reveling in the fun version of Halloween, as Sheen put it.
Exactly. Just, enjoying himself with friends, and Sheen just snaps, interrupts him.
And the comment itself, the thing that haunted him.
He basically just blurted out, try it with kids, dude. That was it.
That's the whole thing.
That seems to be the whole exchange. And Sheen himself called it inappropriate and unnecessary and uncalled for. But still, 2 decades of guilt over that.
Wow. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why does something that feels like minor rudeness stick with the person who did it for so long?
Well, I think Shepard's reflection after the apology kind of gets at that. He talked about his own experiences, making amends, going through recovery programs.
Why?
And he said, yeah, sometimes the person was hurt, but often he was really surprised that the person he called to apologize to, they were never bothered by whatever it was.
Or they barely remembered it, like in this case.
Exactly. And that seems to be the big aha moment here, the real psychological insight.
Yeah, Shepard put his finger on it. He said something like, an interesting part of making amends is that you've built up a lot of it in your mind.
You create this whole narrative.
Yeah, this story where you're convinced the other person hates me or felt betrayed. You live with that story.
The internal drama just balloons, way bigger than whatever actually happened externally. We sort of assume our actions loom as large in their lives as they do in ours.
Because we're the main character in our own movie, right?
Precisely. And they both kind of landed on this conclusion together, Sheen and Shepard, that often when we're carrying this guilt, we've sort of decided the level of trauma for them.
We decided how much they've supposedly been suffering because of what we did.
Yeah. And then came that final, kind of funny, humbling realization they shared.
And we're not even that important in their life.
Ouch. But also freeing, maybe? They just moved on instantly, probably.
So the burden, the real weight of regret for these smaller things, it often sits way heavier on the person who committed the offense.
Especially years down the line, we're carrying rocks that the other person dropped the minute they walked away.
So the takeaway for you listening, I mean, if these offenses we perceive as significant are often, well, less impactful than we imagine.
If people aren't dwelling on our mistakes nearly as much as we think.
Then how much of your own emotional energy right now are you spending on past slip-ups, past comments, past actions?
Things that others might have genuinely forgotten about ages ago.
What weight are you carrying? Maybe for 20 years like Charlie Sheen, that's actually only heavy for you. Something to think about.